Hi, and Happy New Year. I hope you really enjoyed your holidays. Thank you for joining us. So this year, we decided to kick things off a little bit differently. I'm going to be interviewing some of our clients, just so you can get some perspective about their experience. So stay tuned. This is Own Land in Kenya, and I'm Solomon Wangwe. So I'm really excited and honored in this episode to have a special guest and a friend of Goshen Acquisitions, Joram. I'll just let him introduce himself. Joram, thanks for being here.
Yeah, thank you for having me here. My name is Joram Mwinamo. Professionally, I run a consultancy company. I am a strategy and entrepreneurship consultant. So I run a company called WYLDE International. And we work in East Africa and across the wider Africa region with a lot of organizations and entrepreneurs just to, I guess what we primarily help them do is how to build their businesses, how to be able to scale up their businesses and do business across the region. So yeah, that's what I do.
Awesome. Yeah. Of course, I already know this. We're happy students of Joram. I hope you're proud of us as far as...
Yes, you're a good student. You're one of the ones I'm very proud of, because of how you've turned out.
Yeah, awesome. So I just wanted you to maybe get a little bit personal with us about your ethos, or how you think about investing for yourself and for your family. What's your take as far as investments in general go?
Okay. One, I think I'm just probably the fish that's always swimming against the grain. I tend to be very skeptical about things that majority of the people rush towards. I just have this philosophical principle that by the time too many people are running towards something, it's probably the value has been eroded a lot. So I'm probably a more discerning kind of investor who will, by the time an opportunity is presented to me, I'll have to look into it to see, is this something that's really worth my time and effort? So just in general, if you find a group of Kenyans is rushing towards investing in one area or the next, I would be very skeptical about rushing into that particular kind of investment, because I just believe that unique opportunities are usually not very apparent to everyone. So that's kind of the philosophy that I use. So I'll take a lot of time to scrutinize and make sure that an investment is actually worth my time and my effort, and that the returns are going to be significant if I get into it.
That's awesome. I love you said that, because one of our quotes that we like to live by at Goshen Acquisitions is one by David Livingstone. It's actually on some of our material. It says, "If you have men who will only come if there is a road, I don't want them. Give me men who will come if there is no road at all."
Yeah.
And I think that pretty much sums up the way we think about investing as well. We like to pioneer in a sense, because we find that those are where the best opportunities for gain and growth lie.
Yes.
So I'm glad you said that. What are your investment vehicles in general? Are you in the stock market?
So as an individual and as a family, because we discuss investment with my wife before we make any decisions. So in terms of preference, my number one has always been the stock market. It's just my personal philosophy, but I always think that when you do not have significant amounts of money when you're starting out, I think it's a place where you can grow your money to great proportions without requiring a huge capital outlay. But then right after that, then I would think about then investing in property, just because I think a lot of property investments require a lot of upfront capital. And so I consider my primary investment to be the business that I'm running. And then I do a lot of stock market investing and property as well.
Okay.
Yeah. So
you've invested in property before?
So interestingly enough, what I bought from Goshen was my first foray into property, and
I remember you
primarily
did mention that, yeah.
because if you remember what I said earlier, when Kenyans rush into something, I become very skeptical. So I was actually very skeptical about investing in property, not because it doesn't have returns, but just because I need to understand an investment and how the returns will be generated later on. So I took a very long time before deciding to start investing in land, because I just didn't want to get into the hype because everyone else is doing it. And as I'd said, my primary consideration was that, since everyone is doing it, while there's value being created, I believe there's more value that can be created elsewhere. So by the time the opportunities that were presented by yourself at Goshen came up, I just took a lot of time to really scrutinize the investments and asking myself, with everything I believed about property until that point, why would I put that aside and invest in this? And I guess because of the interaction and the insights that were presented about those particular opportunities at that time, I was convinced that it was there were timely investments. They were not just going to be land investments like any other investment. There were significant value adds at the time, in that either there was major government projects that were going to happen in those areas, or just new developments that were going to come in that would then end up generating a significant return as far as those pieces of land were concerned. And also, we were not just looking at buying land to hold, but something which, based on the developments that were going to happen there, we had certain further concepts that we were thinking we could develop on those pieces of property. Yeah.
Hey, thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed some of the interview already. We're going to be continuing with Joram's interview in the next episode. If you have any questions at all for any of our guests who will be joining us in the weeks to come, please feel free to do so. You can reach out to us on our Facebook page, or send us an email at or through www.goshenacquisitions.com, and we'll be happy to include those. You're watching Own Land in Kenya. I'm Solomon Wangwe. Stay tuned for more information on strategic land investment.